So halfway through that phrase, my brain went ding, 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 you're wrong. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm using these two eyeshadow palettes to do this eyeshadow look, and I'm chatting about my most recent performance where I sang for a gala event, the music, the eyeshadow, the mistakes, and if you are interested in any of that, then, you know, stick around. This is the Glam Light Icing Primer. I've had these for ages. This is the shade Buttercream. I also have white frosting, and I tend to use that for cool tone or pastel looks. And I swear these eye primers have lasted for ages, literally at least 2 years. I feel like they never die, which is fine because I don't want to go buy more. I think I actually have one that's just waiting in the sidelines for whenever these tubes finally dry up. Okay, today I want to use my Makeup Revolution, the Enchanted Icon palette, and I don't really have a plan today, honestly, but I thought I would pair it maybe with the the Adept Unity palette. I was gonna say Flying Fiddles, but this is Unity. It looks like this. The shimmers in here are way more exciting than the shimmers in here, but these are good. Don't get me wrong, these are nice. I think this might be the old BH Cosmetics formula. I don't have confirmation on that, but this company bought BH Cosmetics, and BH did have a nice formula, and one of the shimmers in here, specifically this one, reminds me of BH Cosmetics. And then the finish on these shimmers, again, specifically like these here, the finish on those actually remind me a lot of my Lethal Cosmetics shimmers, the old formula of Lethal, because I heard that with their Avatar collection, they are now producing in China. I think that's what I heard, and before they were producing somewhere else. I know Lethal is a German brand. I don't know if they were producing in Germany or US or whatever they were doing, but I think that as of the Avatar collection, they have a new formulation. Well, I don't have anything in the new version of Lethal's formula, but I have their Wildflower palette, and these shimmers remind me of the shimmers in that palette. Very pretty, very nice, quite lightweight, and a little on the thinner side if you're comparing to like Ensley Rain or Bella Beauté Bar, like the chunkier or the very, very opaque or high metallic, high shine shimmers. These are thinner compared to those. Maybe a little bit more like cosmic brushes, but they're still really pretty. I just thought maybe I'd bring in this palette because I haven't used it in a little while, and that is as far as I've gotten. So let's just dive in, see how it goes. I kind of want to use this shimmer right here. I might use this and then place something a bit more poppy on top or a bit more sparkly from the Adept palette. These are creams, and I don't think I'll ever use those. Perhaps I could use that as an eye primer or something if I ran out, but as I said, it doesn't look like I'm running out anytime soon. So let me just dive in. Also, actually, I mean, there is a green matte in the Unity palette, and I've got actually my entire outfit is black except for this green cardigan that I'm wearing. I'm gonna start, I think, with this shade here. There are no names in here. So I'll start with that with a medium blending brush and whip it through my crease and just see where we go from here. Maybe I'll bring in the green after this. I wanted to tell you guys how my most recent concert went. I was singing at a Gala fundraiser event, and that was, at the time of filming, that was 2 nights ago. And it was fun. I got this beautiful gown at the thrift store. I wanted something, I mean, the dress code for the evening was cocktail, and the theme was like Coney Island at the turn of the century. So of course, if you had something that was on theme, that would be even better, and I didn't. But I did want something that was more like black tie because I was performing, so I always dress more when I'm performing, just to show respect to the audience and to show respect to the occasion. Like, this is an event. People have paid money to come because it was a fundraiser, so they bought their tickets at kind of a high price, and then there were all these auctions and stuff during the event. And to show respect to those who came, but also to myself and to the band that I'm playing with, to the other musicians, and to treat it like an event. So I always dress a bit more, a little extra, I think. For my other concerts, the Christmas concert and the finale and stuff for the competition I won, which was before the Christmas concert, I had rented a gown, and this time I thought, well, what if I find something that I could potentially wear again? Could maybe wear it as a wedding guest or something, so not as fancy as a full gown, if you know what I mean, but still quite nice and a little bit elevated. That's beautiful. That is beautiful color, beautiful formula. It took moments to do. I mean, I'm done. It's done. Let me go into this palette now and grab this green shade, which is called Moss. And it's gonna get a little bit dirty here, a little bit muddy mixed with this pink tone, but that's okay. I might also throw it onto the lower lash line for fun. So I went to the thrift store to try to find a dress, and being that it's prom season, I was thinking it might not be too difficult. And I ended up trying on several dresses that were fine, and lots that were not fine. Like, they didn't fit me, my body isn't the shape or the size that I keep thinking it is. Turns out I'm not 25 anymore, and that's quite evident. I've had 6 pregnancies, quite evident. I needed to lose some weight, quite evident. But anyway, I tried on a bunch of dresses, most of which did not fit nicely or didn't fit at all or didn't make me feel pretty. And then I landed on 2 that were sort of like cocktail or brunch kinds of dresses. They were about knee length and they were cute. You know, they were cute. One of them fit me really well, one of them fit me pretty well, but had good lines, good coloring, etc. So I thought, okay, well, I guess these will work. I mean, I didn't have a lot more time to go looking for it, and I didn't have a lot of money for it either. And I thought that if I'd gotten something that I could wear again, it made sense to buy rather than rent. Anyway, I had resigned myself to these 2 dresses that were each cute and fine, but I just didn't feel like they were fitting the bill. And then as I was almost heading out the door, I happened to see this little glimpse of a pretty fabric that was a color I love. And I thought, oh, that's pretty. And then I, pulled it out. It was just on a random rack, hanging nowhere where it was supposed to be. And I pulled it out a little more and I saw, oh, it was long. And I pulled it out a little more and I saw, oh, it's floor length and it's got a cute slit. And I pulled it a little further and I said, I just need to try it on. I have no idea what size it is. I don't know if the size was inside or not, but I just looked like it could possibly fit. And so I went back into the dressing room and tried it on, and I was just delighted because it fit me beautifully. And it made me feel pretty, which is sometimes a stretch, you know how it goes, right? Anyway, it made me feel pretty and I thought it was nice, and I also knew that it was perfect for the event because it was floor length, it had the little slit, had some flair, a little vavoom. I'm actually dubbing it my Jessica Rabbit dress because that's what it reminded me of. And it was a beautiful, elegant sort of dress, but had a bit of fun to it, and it was this lovely wine color with a little bit of sparkle embedded in the fabric, so it glistened and sparkled under the dim lighting of the venue. I will take moss and put this on my lower lash line too. I usually don't do this where I have a different lower lash line color. It's not my favorite, but I'm just gonna put this in the outer half or so and just leave it there for now. I think I'll go back into this palette and pick up this shade here. And I'm just gonna put that in a little bit of a wing and drag it onto the lid. So I was happy I found that dress, really happy, and I thought it was a perfect fit for my event. The songs that I was singing were Bare Necessities from the Jungle Book, and that sort of opened the concert like, we're here with friends and good music and good food. We've got what we need. Even though we got dolled up for the evening, at the end of the day, life can be beautiful with just these basic elements. So that was Bare Necessities. That was the idea behind it. And that one, was a little bit nervous about that one because I didn't have a chance to rehearse with anybody except just the rehearsal right before the event. So I had like maybe 10 minutes with the pianist for us to get together and do the song. And that was it. And for some reason, he had sort of moved his music around and made some changes in the sheet music, which was different from what I was doing and had been practicing. And so we had to put our heads together on the fly and say, okay, what are we doing? And sort of chop things up and move things around to get both of us on the same page. So both of us were a little bit apprehensive that one of us would forget the changes, or I wouldn't signal to him, or he missed a signal, or just something where there was a breakdown in communication, or one of us forgot and the song got messed up. Fortunately, that didn't happen, and the song went just fine. We shared a collective sigh of relief after that one because we're like, okay, we did it. Good job, And then I went back to my seat. It was nice because at the event, as I said, it was a fundraiser, so people had to buy tickets to go, but my husband and I were given comp seats because I was part of the entertainment. So we got to have a lovely evening out and just enjoy a good meal and, chatting with people around us. It was nice. It was enjoyable. Now within this palette, like I said, I wanted to try this shade right here, and it's pretty. I'm definitely going to dress it up a bit, I think, with the Unity palette. So let's put that on the lid. Oh, you know what though? That's lovely. Look at how nice that is. It's actually way more pretty on the lid than I thought it was on my finger. It seems to have a little bit more shine on the lid space. I am still going to dress it up, but that's completely fine. Like, this has a nice finished effect. I just want to take a bit of What do we think? Maybe let's swatch Balanced Beauty and Balanced Bond. Because Beauty, yeah, Beauty has a bit more green to it, see? And that's Bond. So I'm gonna put Balanced Bond right on top, just kind of the center of the lid, I think, to add an extra layer of sparkle and shine to just the apex, the curve of the eye. And then Balanced Beauty, I'm gonna take off my finger and pick it up with a brush. I sprayed my brush with setting spray, and I'm gonna put this on my inner corner and on the rest of the lower lash line that I left bare after I did the green over here. My second song for the evening was from an old Pink Panther movie with Fran Jeffries. She sang the song Meglio Stasera, and apparently Michael Bublé kind of revamped the song. His version is called It Had Better Be Tonight, where he takes the general tune and the words Meglio Stasera and a sort of translation-ish interpretation paraphrase of the original Italian lyrics. I had suggested that song to the artistic director for the orchestra I was singing with, and I said, well, it's no problem, I can sing it in Italian. And then he found the Bublé version, and he's like, well, let's do this is even better. I'm like, okay, no problem. And that was a lot of fun. That was my favorite one of the two, because that one had brass instruments in the background. I had like I think there was a saxophone, a couple trumpets, trombones, I don't know, different kinds of horns. And it was, I love performing with brass instruments. It is so much fun. And the Bublé version of the song has a very samba feel. It's just fun and upbeat, and it's a good time. Check it out. Check out the song if you're interested. It's a good time. So we did that one, and again, we only went through it once. Possibly twice. I think twice. I think we went through it twice with the group before the event, the night of the event. So any mistakes, it's like you have to figure it out on the fly. Now, the funny story with that is that I've known that song for years, but I knew the original, which is in Italian. I'm just going to start the other side since I'm here. So the original's in Italian, and when I got up on the stage, despite having practiced it twice on site and also for 2 or 3 weeks leading up to the event, when I got on stage, there were so many things that are happening. There's like the excitement of the event itself and being asked to be there. There's the crowd, the audience, everyone staring at you, the lights, the spotlights, a group of live musicians to my side. It was a small subset of the orchestra, so there were about 15 to 20, I think, kind of like one representing each major instrument group, something like that. With the excitement of having a live band right next to you, and a little bit of nervousness and all the different feelings and emotions, and okay, you know, there's some strain, what if I mess up, or there's a lot of other stuff that's playing through my brain that I just reverted to my default because I've known it for so many years. The song starts out with the chorus, and the Bublé version is Meglio stasera, baby, go, 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 or as we natives say, fa subito, and then he goes into the verse. Well, reverting back to what I knew in the further recesses of my brain, I jumped right into the song with Italian, and I sang Meglio stasera che domani ormai, domani chi lo sa, quel che sarà. So halfway through that phrase, my brain went ding, 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 you're wrong. And I knew that I was wrong because I was not supposed to be singing in Italian. I was so proud of myself, honestly. This was for me a bit of a triumph, because having the presence of mind to think ahead while I was singing what I was singing, I knew that I could finish that phrase and then start the verse in English. And so that's what I did. And while I was singing the wrong words in the wrong language, I made eye contact with the conductor, and he just had this little smile playing on his lips like, okay, well, this is what we're doing now. How are we going to recover this? My husband had taken a video, so I can see myself in the video, like, my head sort of nods just a second for just a moment as I recognize that I've made a mistake, and then I look over at him and he recognizes that I made a mistake because he's got the whole chart of music. He knows that I'm supposed to be singing other words. And then I finish the phrase and I jump right into English from there, and again he and I made eye contact, and the smile on his lips comes out a little fuller as he's like, okay, we're settled, this is where we're supposed to be. Because if I had kept singing it in Italian, it wouldn't make sense anymore with the way that the music is structured. Anyway, so I made that mistake, but I also recovered it in the moment, and I'm so proud of myself because that's exactly the sort of thing that would derail me and make it very, very obvious that I had screwed up, and everybody would know, and then the song would be like, I'd be struggling to get through or have this awkward pause where I'm trying to remember, okay, what lyrics and where are we in the music, and the music just keeps going. You don't get a chance to stop and no, you just have to figure it out. And that's so scary and so upsetting. And, you know, it's happened to me before. I get off stage and I just cry because I'm so frustrated that I did that and upset, like it wasn't what I wanted it to be, wanted it to go better, it didn't go better. I've done it before, so I know that feeling so well. And I'm just really pleased that I was able to recover and like think ahead in the moment. Okay, this is where I'm gonna shift gears. And it was fine. And that was actually, I mean, I think that song was the most fun, and the audience definitely agreed. And that was done at the end of the night to sort of round out and cap off all of the bidding and the auctions, and, you know, bid on the centerpieces, bid on this fancy vacation because it's a fundraiser. The idea of the song, like, well, it had better be tonight. Now, in the case of the song, it's talking about a personal relationship. Like, hey, if you want to talk to me, you should do it tonight because we might not get another chance. But in the context of fundraiser, I was thinking, well, now's your chance. You can support the organization now, and you might not have this kind of energy or momentum on another day. It's one thing to just do your job well. It's another thing to realize that you've made a mistake and correct it well. In that stressful situation, when everything's on the line, this is the make or break it moment, and you made it. That feels good. So I'm really happy. I mean, I was happy with the whole event, and my voice was happy and healthy, and my songs went really well. But for me, it was the personal development of, hey, you know what? You corrected, and people didn't even notice. And actually, when I reflected after the fact, I thought, I kind of like the song even better the way that I accidentally did it, because it's a bit of an homage to the original, because the first whole phrase is in Italian. So it takes people back to the first, like, with the song's origins. And then you've got the full song, and the full message is still there because you sing it all in English, with these little snippets of meglio stasera, fa subito throughout the song, because that's the chorus, you know. It was kind of like a little bit more of a tribute to the original. But I still recovered and did what I needed to do and stayed with the music and didn't have an embarrassing moment on stage. And that's the song that got the audience the most engaged. That's the song that got the most applause. That's the song that vocally let me stretch a bit, and it was fun. It was so much fun. As far as makeup, I'm really annoyed because I didn't take a good picture. Like, I got a nice picture of my husband, but I didn't get a good picture of my whole outfit and everything in decent lighting. But as far as makeup, I wore my Pat McGrath Moonlit Seduction palette because I wanted something a little quieter, because I had really bold lipstick. I had my Kaleidos lip clay in Sanguine. Love that color. Wait, is it Sanguine or Smeared Rouge? Whichever one. One's the blush and one's the lip clay, and I don't remember which one's which, but I love the color. It's gorgeous, and it was a perfect match for my dress. And I knew I was going to have bold lips, so for my eye makeup, I went with something that was way sophisticated and soft and beautiful, and that was Pat McGrath. I actually wore, I mentioned this in a previous video as I was preparing for the concert, I wore false eyelashes. What I did was, initially, I put on a regular pair, and they just felt so weird and so awkward and so uncomfortable. And I knew that, especially with heavy lights and stuff, I wasn't gonna feel comfortable the entire evening. I'd be messing with them, touching them. They would possibly fall off because it was like my second time ever applying eyelashes. And then I thought, well, the last time I wore these for my 1,000 subscriber video, I had all the same thoughts. And I mentioned perhaps for me, full length or full band lashes are not the right fit. Maybe I would be okay with demis, or is that what they're called? Demis? Like little half lashes or the little wispies in the outer area. So what I did was I took the pair that I didn't love anyway, and I chopped it in half. And then I put half on each side of my upper lash line, and that's what I wore for the night. So it still felt a little awkward, but it was my second time. But it gave me a bit of extra drama where I wanted it. And my daughter, she kept saying, oh, it looks so good, it looks so good. So I felt a little bit awkward, but not too uncomfortable. And I kind of got used to it, although I do remember adjusting it a lot during the evening. So I'm sorry I didn't get a good video or picture for you guys to show you. It was, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't. I should have, but I didn't. Let me recap the details to finish off today's eyeshadow look. I put 2 colors in my waterline. I have a Glide gel liner from LA Girl in brown, and then on just the inner part of the waterline, I used white from NYX. On my lips, I've been wearing the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Lava Cake. I have some blush on. This is the shade Matchmaker from the ColourPop Mulan series from ages ago. It's kind of my skin tone, but a little bit more brown, and so when I use it, it gives a nice finish. I like it. One of my subscribers told me about that. This is the Frosting Highlighter palette from Cosmic Brushes, and I used Cinnamon Swirl. And I don't have mascara on because I forgot. I do have a palette pull-in, which I did not use today. I'm working through the Margarita palette from Glamlight. This is the next shade I need to use, and I just didn't want to today, so I didn't. And that's that. As far as today's eyeshadow look, I think it's lovely. I think that it's giving me all of the depth and drama and impact of my standard eyeshadow aesthetic, but because it's neutral, it feels a little bit safer, and I actually think it's pretty sophisticated. I love the finished effect. I think it's really, really pretty. Now, to be honest, I could have gotten the whole look, I think, with the Unity palette. Hang on a second here. I have filmed this outro 3 times now, and I'm getting really good at doing this part of things. I just keep having issues with my phone because the battery's dying. Anyway, instead of this shade, I could have used this one, or this one really lightly. And instead of this shade, I could have used this one, which would have given me more of a purple than a brown, but it would work. And then instead of this shimmer, obviously I could use the one that I did use, except because I only put this on the center of the lid, it's fading into a slightly softer version of the shimmer at the inner corner, and I think that's helping it be a little bit toned down. And then this shimmer doesn't exist in this palette, and this one has that slight green flip at my inner corner and inner lower lash line. And of course I did deepen the outer area before I used the darkest one with this green matte, which this palette doesn't have. So I probably could have gotten something really similar with only this palette if I played it correctly, but this palette's lovely. I really like this one. This is the Enchanted Icon from Revolution Beauty. They have like 5 or 6 colorways in this icon series. I recommend this one. It's really nice, but I recommend this as well. They're beautiful. So anyway, I do have an Adept playlist, which I can link in the description box. And I just appreciate you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to my little recap of the Gala event. I'm so grateful that I got to do that with the orchestra, and I really hope it's not the last thing they call me for. It's been an absolute joy to have an outlet for my singing, to work with other musicians, to share music and make music with people who love it as much as I do. It's been a total thrill. But at the same time, I'm the 2024 winner for the vocal competition, and now there's a new 2025 winner. So they might end up calling on her for events in the future, which of course would be amazing for her. And I hope that if that's what she's wanting, then that's what she gets. Maybe I'll get lucky and they'll call me for some other things, or maybe this could potentially lead to other events in the community where people ask me to sing. I would be grateful for any of it. And you know, if this is the last thing I get to do with them, then I'm so thankful for all of the chances I had to make music and to just get dressed up and do something so fun and fulfilling and life-giving for me. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. I hope that you will consider liking and subscribing if you want to. I do tend to upload several videos a week. I have small children, so I make no promises, but I've been pretty consistent for the last 3 years or so. And I just am so thankful for you giving me a part of your day. Perhaps I'll see you in my next video. Bye.